Hi y'all, welcome to my workshop. I've been preparing for an upcoming workshop at the Chattahoochee Woodturners where I facilitate a hands-on workshop once a month. And this coming up, we're going to be working on simple Christmas tree ornaments. So I'm going to get started with those. So I'm making this one out of this medallion. It's out of a 4x4 square of wood about a ½ inch thick, and it's a great collaboration project because it serves as a nice little canvas for decorating, whether it's painting or wood burning. So if you've got family members you want to collaborate with that are a little more artistic than you, this is a great little project. So in this particular one, I've put Pax, which is Latin for peace on one side, and then a dove on another. Let's get started. Okay, I'm simply taking a 4-inch square, marking the center, scribing, 4-inch circle, and cutting it on a bandsaw. Now, before we take our medallion disc, in this case it's a piece of oak, 4 inches, and put it on a glue block. In this case, instead of using a threaded glue block, I'm going to use one that's got a tenon on it, and I'll hold it in chuck. That's already actually been flattened on the lathe. We're going to make sure this thing is flat, and if you don't have, you touch it a belt sander. If you don't have a belt sander, you can just put out a flat piece of abrasive on a hard, even surface like your table saw or your bandsaw. In this case, I've got it on a piece of MDF. I use this as a flattening board on the lathe. This board has been finished on this side, so I know it's fairly flat. So I'm just going to kind of touch it up a little bit. And then just to verify that it's flat, of course, you want to use a straight edge to make sure. Okay, we're going to take the glue block and go ahead and put on a little bit of glue here. This is not going to take a lot, so I don't think we're going to get crazy. Now I've marked the center on this just so I have an aim point, but we don't have to get perfect, but just in the ballpark. Actually, I'll do better by centering it almost. And then we bring up tailstock support. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn this round, keeping tailstock support as long as possible. I'm using a small 3/8 inch bowl gouge. Switch into a little different shape profile on the gouge. Go ahead and shape square off the front. Okay, got a pretty nice smooth surface there. Now we're going to go ahead and put a few beads on it. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mark where those beads are going to go, making sure I'm going to be cutting on center. And for that I'm going to use this V scraper. Now using a detail gouge, I'm going to roll a bead. A little bit of tear out. Now from this side. Lift the handle and roll. Now I'm going to switch to a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. And I'm just going to cut down in here and run across. Alright, I've got this sanded up well. Now I'm going to go ahead and separate the glue block, and we're going to see if this little strike shock won't take care of it. And it looks like that did an excellent job. No problem getting the glue off because I'm going to work on this side. Now we're going to use a jam chuck that we made. Let me show you how we're going to make that. First thing I got to do to make this jam chuck, so I got to flatten one side to put it on a glue block. That hole we just drilled makes it a quick, easy job for the cone to pick the side. The cone to center it, and I'm using this flat pad, flat plate with a 1/16 of an inch fun foam, closed cell foam on it. Bring up just a little bit of tension, and I've only got to get in fairly close. I don't have to get to the very middle, because when I mount it on a glue block, I've got this little hole area here that could be, you know, a little bit I don't have to worry about when I glue it. So I'm going to get a small bowl gouge and simply flatten that plate. And to ensure it's flat, I'm just going to take a straight edge and run it against the edge there and eyeball it, and I think that'll get the job done. Okay, I'm going to take that block we just faced off, and I'm just going to run a bead of glue around here and around here. And we're going to go over to the lathe. And we're just going to simply use that hole to apply this, get it lined up, and then we're in good shape. And we're just going to let it cool for a few seconds. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to measure how wide this is. And then we're going to go ahead and mark mark that on the front of this jamb chuck, and then we're going to cut that out. So first thing I'm going to do, slow the speed down just a little bit, using only this tip, watching the other tip but keeping it away. Let's see how close we are. No, come back a little bit. And that's pretty close. Okay. So now I'm going to use a bowl gouge and just waste away some of this middle. Now look how deep I've got to go. I've got to go down about at least a good little more than 1/4 of an inch. Come back here and take out just a skosh more. So you can think of this almost like a fat Morse taper. It gets tighter as it goes in. And a little deeper. Okay, I think that'll hold it. I think this thing will pop in. That's running very true, and that should hold this thing very securely. So now I'm going to smooth off the back. And I think we got a pretty nice smooth surface. I'm going to go ahead and sand this off the lathe before we texture it. Now I'm going to use the Sorby large spiraling wheel. That's the one where it comes to a point. This is a scraper. I'm going to tilt it a little bit off vertical. I think I'll mark a couple of areas that I'm going to texture to kind of see how it goes. I'm not used to texturing on something like as hard as with as coarse a grain as oak, so we're going to texture from there to there. And we're going to turn the speed down to somewhere around 500. And come in here, and when it starts engaging the wood, that's when I will lift the handle. Slowly pivoting. And I like that. That gives us a very nice texture. And I think what I'm going to do is just do that texturing band and put a slight bead on each side and leave this flat. Maybe I'll put a little button in the middle as a feature. So I'm going to come in with the V-gouge and define that edge to kind of make it pop out a little bit. Bring the speed up again, somewhere maybe close to 1,000. And this is a scraper as well. Just slowly come in here, mark that, stop a little bit, double check where I'm gonna come along and just hit right where that pencil mark is. That'll make that go away. And now I think I'm going to put a bead right here. And as before, I'm going to use my detail gouge to kind of round this over a little bit. More pronounced, and I like that. I think that's going to look good with a little bit of finish on it. And I think in the middle, I think I'm going to let that go with just that bead. We're going to sand that up and call that good. Now here's a shot of the back. Now to take this off, we're going to take a little bit away from this Jamb chuck. So I'm just going to use a deep fluted gouge. Cut it back. And now we're just going to tap on it and see if it'll tap out. Maybe we'll get lucky. No, but here's where we drill that hole in the back for a special purpose. So let's see if it works. Wow, it's in there pretty good. Hit it any harder, I'm afraid I'm going to damage that that inside. So let's go just a bit, just a little bit more. I'll take just a take off just a bit more. And there we go. And I'll either, like I said before, I'll either use pyrography, maybe I'll even use my Lichtenberg burning unit on this. I've got to drill a small hole for a ribbon, and then that'll be complete. Okay, I decided this was a little too heavy. It should be less than, it should be a 1/4 to 3/8 inch thick, and my finished product was still close to a 1/2 inch. So I decided to put it back on the Jamb chuck, thin it out a little bit. While it's on there, I'm going to use some thin strip of cocobolo that I've sharpened to a knife edge on a sander just to put a little bit of color on it. That'll help spruce it up a little bit. Now when I tried to take this off with a knockout bar before, I thought it was banging against this and wasn't popping it out. Actually, the knockout bar wasn't large enough to extend all the way up to the back of this project through this glue block. But I've got a different approach I want to show you. I simply hooked up a little rubber tip to my air compressor, and we're going to give that a try. Let's see if you can see that. And we're just going to pop it in, and it seals the back of this spindle hole, and it pops it right out. So that was a good little trick.